What's going on, Internet? I'd like to welcome you guys back to Respectfully Speaking, the podcast where we talk about all things geek. Thanks for tuning in into episode number 10. Now, before we get into the topics, if you're watching the YouTube version of the podcast on youtube.com/respectfully speaking, know this podcast is also available on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and all other major platforms. My name is James, and I'm here with my two co-hosts today, Jason and Malcolm. And today, we decided to want to talk about a very new anime that kind of hit the airwaves for a lot of people. It's this rom com supernatural type of show that got a lot of buzz. It's called Dandadan, and
Yeah.
I heard about it a while ago, and I wanted to read the manga, but I never really did. And then I saw the trailer. Now, at first, I was worried because I was like, I don't know what it's about. So I saw the trailer on Crunchyroll, and all I remember is Luffy's voice actor talking about wanting to do sexual things with the little boy. Now, I never heard Luffy's voice actor make a
Whoa.
certain claim like that,
Excuse
but
me.
the
This is not how you lead, bro. You
this is
sitting here doing
exactly how
that
you
kung
lead,
fu
Let him
slice
go.
thing.
Let him
You
go.
killing
Let
me,
him go.
dog.
right?
Bro, there's ghosts, there's aliens, and there's a rom com. And they just do
Yes,
things. And I'm loving it because it's given like way back in the day, like so there's a lot of good shows that are given like what I was able to experience when I was a young boy watching anime with like very little like preceding it. So like it wasn't like, oh, I've seen like 200 anime and now like, oh, this is reminding me of this is reminding me of that. It felt like its own breath of fresh air. It's the same way like when I was watching Gurren Lagann for the first time, or Kill La Kill, or a newer show like Mob Psycho. Like a lot of people really compared to Mob Psycho for those reasons. Like it feels like its own
that's
thing, and
true.
it
Yeah.
is walking on its own like tempo. And
Hmm.
honestly, since he made that comment, I think Luffy's English voice actor sounds way better as the Turbo Granny than as Luffy. Like I do not like listening to Luffy's English voice actor as Luffy at all. I don't know what it
I
is. I
agree.
don't think it's possible to capture Luffy's voice acting in English well. Like I just don't think it is.
Really, I can
He's not an
see that.
He's
It's
not an
really
English character.
really hard to land.
Yeah,
Like
I guess it makes sense.
because the voice actor for Luffy's original like Japanese voice is just so distinct and so like good for like the character's quirky nature that it's like really hard for my ears to like correct it back over to English.
It's like the same reason why I didn't watch Dragon Ball Diamond yet because I'm so used to the English version of Goku that when I listen to the Japanese version of Goku, it kind of like my brain doesn't receive it well. So I'm waiting for the English
Yeah,
dub.
because you have an emotional connection with Goku's English voice.
Yeah, man. Like when he turns Super Saiyan and everything, he
From
poops
your
himself and
childhood.
everything. Like, yeah,
Nah, no. So when you started doing your intro, I'm like really like looking at you. I'm thinking like, man, like James got this down pat. But he doing that little like fly squatty, like almost like Millie Watt, like intro thing.
look, you
I
gotta
just say
hook people
something,
in.
bro.
You gotta hook people in. Like Malcolm, like when you hear about what Don Don. So okay, so let me. Do you know what the premise of Don Don is?
No, I wanted to say that I think you two should sell me on the show as you would like sell the audience as well, whoever's
It's
listening.
hard. The show sells itself, bro.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
That's not a good
not
sell,
doing
though.
a good.
No.
Yeah, it's
Like,
not
but
doing a
let
good
me
job.
explain. But let me
Okay.
explain because again, like with the show this quirky, like you have to keep in mind, like what are the things that makes the show good? Like there are things that are hard to sell because it's hard to put to words. The visuals is amazing. The color of direction is amazing. Animation amazing. Voice acting amazing. Soundtrack. I haven't seen a soundtrack this like with this much identity since like freaking Soul Eater.
I
Like
agree wholeheartedly.
soundtracks feel like cut and
The
like
opening,
paste. Like I was rewatching Black Clover, for example, and we can talk about this later. And I'm like listening to this, watching the shows. Like the openings are gas, animation solid, like fight scenes crisp. The soundtrack of Black Clover is just like copy paste. It just felt like unoriginal. Nothing about it is distinct, and I feel like this is one of those. This is one of those times where it's like they have all of the elements together. It's almost like what happened with Black Clover, not Black Clover, with Demon Slayer way back in the day, where like they did simple so well that like everyone was hooked. Except unlike Demon Slayer, the actual premise of the show isn't like unoriginal. Like we've never seen like, oh, this is a show that starts off with a character. Well, let me just tell you what happened in the first episode. Starts off with the one girl, she can see ghosts or she believes in ghosts more so, and then she's like has like she's with her boyfriend who she's about to break up with. He's a total like jerk.
Loser. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a total jerk. And then like she breaks up with him, but she was only dating him because like he reminded her of this like celebrity that she has a crush on, but at this
Yeah.
point is like super old, so like it's just off the market. And then she's in a bummy mood, and then this nerd like go over somewhere else. He's really into aliens. He's never seen them, but he was like, "Well, there's proof of them because the FBI said they had this sighting and blah blah blah." He's sitting here just nerding about this, and then they interact. And at first, like she kind of takes out her pissed offness about her boyfriend that she just broke up with on him, and then she's like, "I'm really sorry about that. Like maybe this alien stuff isn't that weird. I believe in
Yeah.
ghosts." And he's just like, "You believe in ghosts? That's stupid." And then it just turns
Right.
into this like they start arguing, and then he's like, "You know what? How about this? How about this? You go to a spot that's known for alien sightings, and then I'll go to a spot that's known for ghost sightings, and we'll stay on the phone the whole time, and we'll see who's chicken, or let's see whose thing that we think is dumb or not real is it real or not." But both of them
Yeah.
run into the opposite thing. So they both, at the end of the episode, confirm aliens are real and ghosts are real, and there actually is a
Yep.
connection between them. And then that's how they like end the first episode. And like this whole episode is like dynamic. The characters are spunky. They're not your cut archetypes. I mean, I think all characters are based off an archetype after a certain time, at a certain point, but like they feel like real like people. As quirky and as dramatized as they are, they feel distinct from other characters I've seen in other shows, which
Yeah, I
is a
feel
real
like I
plus.
would see them. If I was in school, I feel like this would definitely be the two people I would recognize. Like, they feel like human beings, and
Which is hard to pull off.
very hard to pull off without down to the archetypes. Because a lot of animes, especially for this demographic, for the young like boys, young girl audience, like they dive into those archetypes a lot because it's easy to do, and plus like archetypes are not necessarily bad, right? Archetypes are
Mhm.
good. It gives you a template to then take your own spin on a certain archetype, right? But it really does feel like the writer really sat down and thought, how can I make them so unique and dynamic, where if this was a whole different premise, a whole different anime, a whole different world, it just would not fit. It only their character trait only fits in this anime, nowhere else, right?
Facts.
Um, that's why I think what pulled me the most into it is, yes, the soundtrack is fire, but what really makes it so engaging is kind of how creative they take the supernatural creatures. Like, I really love character design a lot, and what Dandadan really does is that they always make the character design so unique and clever in a way. Um, and it's a way they kind of. I'm a sucker for rom com. I am. You know,
Yeah.
I've watched Kaguya Sama before. I've seen a lot of these type of animes, right? And so when you can take a rom com that's usually in like in a school setting, typically like slice of life almost, but then you combine it with like this almost supernatural. It's like a supernatural detective type of adventure in a way, where they're not necessarily. Well, I won't spoil the whole thing because Jason kind of gave you the first episode, so I won't spoil what happens after the first episode. But let's just say that it's a rom com that's, but it's
Supernatural
not.
B and C
Is it a
plots.
Yes,
mystery rom com?
In some ways, because I think the
yes,
reality is we as the audience don't know the full extent of how integrated ghosts and aliens are with
in the
this
society.
specific
Mhm.
world that they're writing here. And so I think that's the open ended, but it's not like a shonen in the typical sense of it starts off and then we have this vague grand thing that we're going to slowly flesh out, like say the One
Right,
Piece or the Ninja
right,
World, i.e., the Kage statuses and such, or what it
right.
means to be the Wizard King or whatever. It starts off with a boy and a girl, and it's almost like all of the supernatural stuff and all of the cool animations and the fights, that's just a vehicle for the relationship to grow. And I don't think I can think of another shonen that actually
Yeah.
had the romance be the A plot and the action be the B plot. I don't know if you can
I
think of
think
one.
I think that is the perfect way how to describe it. Like, Danadon is an example of the writer wanting to write like a rom com, but how do you make it not basic, not generic? And so you use the supernatural world and the mysteries that come with the creatures that you meet. What is their skill set? What's their thought pattern? Who even are they, really? Right? Because there's even lore among these creatures themselves within the world, and but you're still like seeing this thing develop between these two characters that's enticing. It's like you're having your cake and eat it too. If you're into like supernatural stuff, like you want to see the creatures, you want to see like action scenes and comedy, this is still you. If you want to see potential will they won't they type of, well, it's a friendship, it's a romance, it's whatever, like whatever it is, that's also here too for you. But it's perfectly balanced where not one overtakes the other. It both perfectly feeds off the other. It's just well written to me.
It's good. I haven't seen anything like it. I
Yeah,
really haven't, and I think they've managed to do it in a way that it keeps the simplicity because you can't put too much of like the will they won't they stuff that
right.
otherwise sometimes like would embellish a romance, but then end up dragging it down because it gets a little bit like extra or kind of inflated.
It's just dragging on. Yeah.
But what they haven't done is it hasn't taken away from the lot of the nuance that comes with the discomfort of romance, because the discomfort of
Yeah.
romance is half it's the drama of it that makes it entertaining and makes it like worth investing in. And I so far I'm loving it. I'm rooting for these guys, and their vibe
Um,
is dope.
I would say too that I got my girl into anime recently, and she's like watching some of these shows, right? And I always don't want to push anybody, whether friend or partner, to get into like read comic books or manga because I want them to find their own book that speaks to them. Because I truly believe when it comes to anime, everything there is a show for a person. There's so many genres of anime. There's so many styles of it. So many premises that you could find an anime that clicks for you. And if you want to stay in that lane, you can. If you want to explore, then do that. She watched the first episode of Dandadan, and I think it took her the second episode. And I remember I met up with her, and she was already trying to buy the manga. That's how like the first two episodes really grip you. It's
I
just such an
mean,
interesting premise.
same thing with Chainsaw Man, because honestly,
Yeah,
Chainsaw Man season we recorded on that too. But the beginning of Chainsaw Man was so good that I actually never finished it because I went straight to the manga
yeah,
and burned through the entire first arc in like a
yeah.
week and a half. No, it was like 2 weeks, and I was just like I was reading it in between like assignments at work. I was
Yep.
I was doing too much, bro, but I couldn't put it down. And
Yeah.
then, like, it goes to show you, like, anime is manga advertisement.
I always think so because like when I think the best animes are animes that make you want to immediately go and read the book because you just want to see what happens next. You don't want to wait till next
It
week
puts you
or
in
next
tension,
year.
though. Because as soon as season
Yeah.
one's done, I'm going right to the manga. It's the same
Oh
thing that
yeah.
happened with season two of JJK. Like, I went right to the
Yep.
manga. Although I'm definitely going to still rewatch the whole season three when JJK drops.
As you
Like, I'm
should.
going to.
Yeah.
Because the Common Game art definitely needs the justice of animation.
Oh, I think so too. I think it's gonna
Because
go.
it's
I
real
think it's gonna be
wordy
fire.
otherwise.
Yeah. I think they're going. I think animation. I think the Cooling Game will probably be able to deliver the important stuff, important information, in a more digestible way. I think so.
100%.
But yeah,
Yeah.
speaking of Malcolm, how
Yes.
have I have a two-part question actually just kind of just,
Okay.
came to me
Go
a
ahead.
little
Go
bit.
ahead.
The first part question is before I get to the Dandadan question is has there been an anime that kind of gave you a gateway to want to read more of, even if you haven't read the manga exactly? Has there been animes that made you think, man, I really should go pick up that book and read more of it? Besides Naruto.
Yes. I mean, I weirdly enough, I didn't want to read Naruto, not because I didn't think it would be good, but
You
I
didn't even
just
want to
like.
watch the sub.
Dang, that's true. Dang, that's crazy.
I mean,
Fraud.
yes, I like. You don't want to watch sub of Dragon Ball. We just talked about this 10 minutes ago. Don't call
That's
me a
true.
fraud.
That's true.
Literally.
Oh, we'll concede on that point.
Yes.
That's true.
I'm trying to think. Is there anything like I'm sure there is. I'm really just like I feel like there's like an obvious one, and my brain is just like not working.
An obvious
Was
anime
Yo-Yo
you've seen
Vampire?
that you wanted to read the
No,
manga for, or did you actually read the manga for?
that I wanted to.
Has
I
there
think it was
ever been an anime that
I
made
think it
you
was
read the manga?
Assassination Classroom.
Really, that?
Ooh, interesting.
Like I was curious about like how it was just written and like if anything was different
I like that.
versus like
I originally
animated.
thought that show was overrated.
Really
You're overrated. How dare you say that?
I no, I said
overrated?
originally. I ended
Oh,
up
originally. Oh, okay.
going back and watching it. And it was like really solid, but I also watched the dub, which might have cut some of my enjoyment. Who knows? But I wasn't bad. It wasn't
It
anything
was
that I was just like, this is the greatest of all time. But
it's
when
a
I
really good
finished
show.
it, I was I was surprised at how much I liked it because the very first half of the first season, I was like, this is just a weird like episode of the week with a bunch of like emotionally like unbalanced teenagers.
Who knew that watching an anime of students wanting to kill their teacher could be so
Uh,
satisfying to
I
watch?
know.
You know.
I got a
Um,
better answer. The answer is
what?
Erased. Once I saw Erased like four
Ooh,
whatever years ago, I was like, I
yeah.
need to read this. I need to consume this because
Promise
it was
Neverland.
just okay. That's a good one.
Yeah, don't watch the anime after season one. Just go straight to the manga.
I started rewatching it with some friends at church, and
Yeah,
we were talking about it, and I was just like, I heard season one ended so good. I was like, man, I can't
yeah,
wait for season two. And
fantastic.
apparently, season two took 3 times as much content as season one and crammed it into one season. Actually, 4 times, and then even then, still skipped some arcs.
In any all the important stuff that's like very important that the manga is like saying this is a very big character moment, revelation for a character. They did still images to like speed up the process. I don't even know why they speeded it up. It was a shamble. So yeah, I always think it's good. So like with Dandadan, that's why for me after the season's done, I from what because she's reading it and she tries to spoil it for me, but I'm like, don't spoil it for me. From what she says, it's pretty identical. Like every panel has been adapted in the anime. Like there's not really a lot of filler. She says, so I think that's pretty cool that how uh, close it is, which is good. So that way, when I've done season one to read the manga, hey, I can just jump right in. So that'll be good for me. So, with that said, Malcolm, have we convinced you to check out Dandadan?
All right. You've like told me a lot about the plot and like the story, the elements of like what makes the show unique and different. But like James, you started off by saying like you think that I would really like the show. Like what? Like give me like a solid reason of why me specifically why you think I would enjoy this show.
I thought we did.
Yeah, I thought we did.
But like
All the
I'll
reasons
say
why
you
it's good are the reasons why you like good things, don't you?
I
yeah,
mean
you
I
like good
guess.
quality, right?
You
I mean
you
everyone
you
loves the
asking
Lord of
for
the
the
Rings,
world
and I
now,
think that was
bro.
like the most boring 3 movies I've ever seen in my
Lord of the
life.
Rings sucks. I said it.
Thank you. Everyone regards that as like the three greatest, like that's the greatest trilogy of
Fantasy
movies ever,
movies.
and I'm
Wait,
just
what
Yeah.
like,
trilogy?
the Lord of the
Lord of the
Rings.
Rings.
I was like, I couldn't
They were
wait
like,
till it was over.
no, they were really OD because we were in the room and there was a bunch of us who had never watched it. And they were like, well, should we watch the regular version or the definitive extended version? I'm
It's
like,
like,
And I
I
think it was like
think
what
the
4 hours
it
of the
was like
extended
four,
version. I was
four
like,
and a half hours. I'm like, I'm
dog.
not
I was
sitting
just
there.
good.
like, let's do the regular version because a lot of us here like aren't like into the series enough to really appreciate the extended version because we're not like fans like that.
Right.
And then somebody grabbed a moment and be like, ooh, the extended version is starting, and I'm out here like, wow, bro, I don't matter at
You,
all.
you,
I
you
think I
know, it was bad when we were like halfway through the movie and like we were like, all right, let's take a break, and it was like 2 hours in, and everyone's like,
oh
wait, we're
yeah.
only halfway done the movie. Like, there's two
Oh
more
yeah.
hours left.
Bro, I don't think
And
we
I think that's
finished the
when people
movie that
checked
night.
out.
I don't
Yes,
think we
Yeah, we
ever
didn't.
finished that joint
I
We
don't think
never
we did
finished the
either.
movie.
I know
because
I
I
No,
didn't.
think
I think
the half of us that didn't want to watch a 4 hour version of a movie we never even seen before was just like, yeah, that was a movie, and we'd rather
I
just chat, eat some cookies,
yeah.
whatever.
I think what they said is that where we ended was like where the theatrical edition ended, but then there was like
I
more
don't
stuff to
know.
fill up. I was like, I'm good. If that's a
All,
theatrical version, I'm fine.
all that
You
being
know.
said, yes, I just because something is considered good doesn't mean I'll enjoy it. But I mean,
I mean, I would say for you, I feel like for a lot of people, if you're watching, like me, for example, I'll tell you why I think it worked for me and how it might work for you. Is that when I was watching, like when I'm reading books or if I'm watching a lot of anime recently, it's and even like Halloween, like we had a lot of horror stuff that me and my girl was watching and everything like that, right? So it was good watching something like Dandadan that kind of scratched that itch of like horror, but it had that more comedic vibe to it that felt more like a palate cleanser. So if you're someone who's like watching something very heavy or something very serious, and you just want to take a break from the serious stuff happening in your life, you don't want to watch a heavy, philosophical, deep, thought provoking type of show. This is a great. example. That doesn't mean that Dandadan doesn't have its messages or themes it wants to talk about, but it's more focused on kind of pushing. It's telling you what it's about, and if you want to think deeper on it, you can. But if you want to just sit back and drink some water, juice, or whatever, eat some popcorn, and just like and have a good laugh for 30 minutes, it's there for you.
Nah,
You
bro. I
know,
turn off everything when I watch Dandadan. I put my noise canceling headphones on and connect it to my like app.
and you want to
So
focus. Yeah,
and then I have my dinner. I got my beer, and I'm just like, all right, it's about to be like the best 22 minutes, bro.
the bachelor lifestyle, man. Bachelor pad. I feel you. I feel you.
Nah, it's one of the highlights of my week, bro.
I
Like
feel
being
you.
able to
That's
tune in for that 22 minutes a week for like good anime that's like weekly dropping. Because this season had like on paper, it feels like it has a lot of dope shows. I'm like waiting for other people to watch half the other shows, and we're gonna get into like what we're watching right now. But
yeah.
Dandadan,
I'm
like
so
bro, like Friday, Saturday, let's get it.
that
And
is the
I'm even
only
happier
show.
when I don't watch on a Friday, Saturday, and the weekend happened, and I start the work week, and it's like a tough week, and I'm like, oh, I have an episode of Dandadan that I haven't watched.
You just feel happy as like a present. Yeah, exactly.
It's a present from me to me. It's like when you leave $20 in your pocket and then you're doing your laundry and you find it later.
I'm glad you're happy about
Broke
that.
nigga. Yeah. But it's true though. That's facts though. I
Is
think
that not a good way to describe it?
that no, it's a great way to describe it because Dandadan is like literally the only show that I'm supposed to have like 6 shows I'm supposed to watch. Like the Penguin was one of them. I only saw the first episode. I didn't watch the rest of it. Dandadan is the only one where like I'm actually committed to watching every single week.
Okay.
And every single week. I
It's
won't let a week go
every,
by without watching that episode because I need to be
mm-hmm.
up to date. And I
If it's
swear, if
not,
somebody spoils the manga, bro, we're gonna have to fight.
oh yeah, I agree. Don't spoil like
We're
no
gonna have to
spoilers, man.
fight if you spoil the
Yeah,
manga for me.
yeah.
You know how mad I
So
was when somebody spoiled Naruto for me?
what they spoil Naruto for you?
The-
Naruto
Spoiler
spoilers in case you
alert,
guys don't watch
Shippuden
Naruto.
spoiler if you haven't seen Naruto yet. It's the
It's been
time
like
in the
25 years.
manga.
They're fine.
It was when Neji had first died in the manga.
Oh, dang, they spoiled that for you?
Mind you, Naruto was still like on a boat with like Guy Sensei, like in the mist, like 3 months into deep into some filler on his way to like Killer B at that time. And I get this massive spoiler. I was hot. I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
As you should be. That is a massive spoiler. I remember
So when it
a
happened,
One
that
Piece
didn't matter.
spoiler messed me up. Yeah, like I really don't.
Was
I
it
really
Ace's
don't.
death for you that messed you up?
Yeah,
That's the
You're
it
worst
messed.
just gonna
thing in
casually
the
say that out
entire
loud.
show.
Dude,
I
it's
knew
been
it
like
happened.
25 years.
You know,
I
Like,
knew it
we've
happened.
been trying to get you to watch it for like
No, hold on, hold on. I
6 years.
knew that happened. I knew that happened like 10 years
oh,
ago. But I meant for other
oh,
people who may not know that happened.
We just mentioned a
well, look,
spoiler and that it's a spoiler. It's coming up.
Okay.
facts.
We gave the
Also,
spoiler alert. Besides, we
also
can
the
put it.
One Piece remake is coming out, so hopefully people go watch that one. So Malcolm, you have no. So now, if you want to watch something that's more like Dragon Ball Z Kai related or something like that, was more like closer, better pacing, better animation, and stuff like that. The One Piece remake, the same studio that made the first 3 seasons of Attack on Titan, is making the One Piece remake. So I'm just saying.
Okay.
Um, but yeah. Anywho, I wanted to talk to you guys real quick. So we talk about Dandadan because it's a hot new show coming out that a lot of people love. Um, what are some other shows that we got in the pipeline that we're thinking about? Like Jason, I want to start with you actually because I know you have like a deep catalog, and I've been meaning to actually watch some new season shows. So if you want to put me on to some, I'll be open to it.
So I've been watching a mix of things. I've been watching a mix of newer shows, older shows, and then shows that have dropped in the last like 5-ish years that are like
Yeah.
that made some noise for a little bit. But you know the thing is with these short shows that are really good, like they don't make enough noise to stick around in the zeitgeist. So for one, I just finished watching Hell's Paradise. That was really good. I
Okay.
was really disappointed that it ended on a cliffhanger, sort of, as far as season one.
Okay. Now
Um,
let me. Can I ask you a question real quick? Since you're talking about Hell's Paradise, um, I googled because my girl wanted to know if there's similar shows to Dandadan for like anime, basically, and I saw some people saying Hell's
nope,
Paradise is like has that vibe. Do
nope,
you
nope,
don't
nope.
agree?
I
Okay,
think it might be similar in the sense that it's supernatural, but in nothing else. The tone is completely different. The animation's differently. It's very like quasi serious show.
Okay.
I think if your girl is trying to find something that is similar to Dandadan, she'd be better off watching Mob Psycho because I'm pretty sure what she likes about
Facts.
Dandadan is the tone and the direction. Because tone and
Yeah.
direction is everything. Tone and direction is why we can sit here and watch like sports anime as shonen. And
Yeah,
people
that's
talk about
true.
how Haiku is one of the best shonen of all time when all they're doing is jumping around hitting
Yeah.
a volleyball and it legitimately
Yeah.
No,
look good. It's just
I
fun to
want
watch.
to interject. You won't confuse me with. I'm not with y'all. Like, no.
Malcolm doesn't like sports animes because he played sports in high
Malcolm's a
school. He thinks
professional
it's
hater. He
inferior.
don't
I
watch
am.
nothing.
Yeah.
But he will have an opinion on everything
I
that he
will
don't
have
watch.
a hater opinion. I will come with
A
that.
hater opinion.
He is the
Balance it out.
definition of ignorant hate.
Hmm.
So what's
But
next, Jason?
so watch Hell's Parade. Death Parade was really, really, really good. I just finished that this
Okay.
weekend,
Oh,
and I
really?
started off again just one of those shows. I've been going down a list of a bunch of shows that people kept gassing years past that I never got around to just because of like work busyness or life busyness. Death Parade was really, really good, and I think I like it for the same reasons that I like shows like Holic. If you've seen that show, it's in the same like kind of universe as like animes like Tsubasa
Okay.
Chronicles. It's a Clamp Studios anime that I really, really, really love from the mid 2000s. It's in the same vein as that, as so far as it talks about like things like life, like death, like the meaning of life, all that other stuff. Because the whole premise of it is people like in their final moments they die, and if they die at the same time, they get sent to this place for their final judgment. But the thing is,
Mm.
they don't know they're dead until they have to go through these games, and as they're going through these games, the shock or whatever it is about that game that stimulates their memories returning of their final moments brings out either the best or the worst of them, which makes it clearer as to
Yes.
where they should go in their final moments. And they put these different characters through different types of situations. The very first episode, I'll tell you what the very first episode was. It was a husband and a wife, and they died in a car accident on their
Yeah,
way
that's
over.
right.
But
That's
but
right.
you
Yeah.
didn't know that they died, and they didn't know that they died.
Nope.
And then as they're playing this game of darts, every time you hit a dart on a certain part of the dartboard, it'll stimulate pain in whatever body part is painted on that dartboard like space, but in the
Yeah.
opposite person. And it's like, oh, like you didn't do that on purpose, did you? No, I didn't, honey. It was going back and forth, and you could see them like literally like divulge, and you could see like the husband like jealousy and like paranoia. You can
Hmm.
see the woman's lie and this and that, and it was just like, and in those moments you're like, wow, like this show is like intense out of nowhere. But not every game is
Yeah.
like that. Some of it's just like, oh, two people who are totally unrelated, like they end up like on this thing together. Some people die together, like whatever. But the show was really, really good. It was short and sweet, but like everything about it was paced nice. The soundtrack was dope.
Opening was fire.
Car- I actually like the outro more.
I thought was that.
Really?
I don't know.
Is
I
wait,
can't remember
outro?
I
that.
mean, I've been like rewatching a lot of old Dragon Ball content. I'm like in a like old like rockhead mode, so
Yeah.
don't even like take that with a grain of salt. Opening's gas. A lot of people love it. I like the outro just as much, if not more.
Okay.
And then there's shows that are coming out like now. Um, if you haven't seen ReZero, you have to watch ReZero. I
Dude, I
just finished
still
watching
gotta.
the premiere of season 3.
Man,
Oh
is it banger?
my god, bro! Like a show that is so good that I can't like keep watching it. Like you know when you're like watching something and you get easily distracted. I can't be distracted.
Yeah.
I am at the edge of my seat. Like my breath is quieted.
Invested.
I can hear the light in my apartment. like I'm sitting there like golly, everything about it, like everything about because I was like watching it's like it's a slow burn that first episode. I think they made the first episode like an hour long, and I'm like, all right, like they really want to
Okay.
like they don't want it to be one of those things where the first episode's too slow and then you never like get to episodes 2 or 3. It's like, nah, bro, we're gonna end the first episode in a way that makes you like look forward to that next 20-minute bit
Yep.
and also gives you enough content that gets you back into the motion because it has been over a year since the last season ended, and it is
Okay.
amazing. The characters feel like
That's
real
interesting.
people. Like Subaru is an awesome main character. All
Yeah.
the other side characters are intriguing. The relationships, the dynamics, the politics, the world. There's a reason why they call this one of the best isekai, even more than the one that shall not be recommended.
Wait, which isekai was what were you just talking about?
ReZero.
Oh, ReZero. I'm
ReZero's
sorry.
so good at isekai, it doesn't feel like an isekai.
I'm about to say because like when you said, I'm like, is that really isekai? And
He's
I'm like, it
wearing
is.
like joggers and a tracksuit in a fantasy world, and he does not ever change into the fantasy world's clothes. He stays in the joggers and tracksuit for the
Yeah.
whole show, and it still continues to feel more like less like an isekai than other isekai because it's so good about it. It does not do the power fantasy thing at all.
Right.
It's just so good. And we already talked at nauseum about whatchamacallums, Dandadan. That's like the big joint. I haven't watched Blue Lock season 2 yet. I hear pretty bad things about it, the animation.
Yeah. I had to drop that one for me. I think I watched the first two episodes, and I was like, I like the show. Like the premise is so good, and if you actually sit down and ignore the like just the quality of it, it's the journey itself is interesting. But I'm not gonna lie to you, that's something I might just pick up the manga and just read myself. It's one of those things where it's like animation killed it, like how Demon Slayer, the animation like excels at it, like elevates it. This one,
Really?
you,
Season 1 was really good.
it was season one was really good, but then I don't know if they changed different like production company or something like that. I don't know if they just don't have the budget, but it just kind of feels like they got more lazy with how they wanted to present the anime a little bit. It's kind of
Ooh,
weird. It's
another
like
show.
I wasn't saying. What did you say, Jason?
I was just about to say I never finished Windbreaker.
Oh, Windbreaker. You know what? I do
How
want to
hard
watch
is it,
Windbreaker.
bro? It was such a good animation, and the story was sheets. It sucked, bro.
Oh, so what? You just didn't have the time to finish it, or just something came
I
up you
have
wasn't able
time.
to finish it? Okay,
I started
okay.
rewatching D Gray Man before I finished Windbreaker.
I could not get through D Gray Man. I always stopped after episode three. I don't know what it is about D Gray Man, but I just cannot get through it.
You know what I
If they do a
realized from rewatching it?
what?
It's a really slow burn, but not as slow burn as you think it is. Because
Probably not. Now if I watch it
the
now,
supporting cast is what made it good.
that might be it. I might have to give it
It's
another
an
chance.
episode. It's a mystery of the week, episode of the week anime for a little while until it starts spiraling into a larger, more comprehensive mystery.
I think it needs. I think it definitely is deserve a remake, like Death Note.
I don't think fan
Um,
base is there for it.
yeah, probably not. I mean, D Gray Man. I mean, Malcolm, have you seen D Gray Man or no? No, you haven't seen D Gray Man. I've. I'll
The
give it a
fan base
shot one day.
was there for it for a long time.
You know what we gotta watch? I can't believe I keep forgetting that Bleach dropped another season this season. I can't believe I've not watched a single episode of that yet.
I'm waiting to watch
I
it
get,
with some friends.
oh, you have like a little club, little thing going?
Little club is hilarious. You can have a little club. Use your
Little
little
nerdy,
anime
yeah,
friends.
yeah.
Watch your
You
No, but
didn't
that's
deny it. You just kind of made fun of it.
right, right, exactly. He didn't say no to it.
I didn't. Nah, I
That's
don't
good.
have the Bleach fans are few and far in between, like real Bleach fans. I'm not talking about people
That
who
is
give it
true.
a hype, bro, but real Bleach fans, people who stood 10 toes when everyone was dogging Bleach for 10 years straight,
Yeah, the
are
loyalists,
far and few in between. And so in that regard, yeah, I got myself a little club.
as you should. I think Bleach definitely needs to. I just really wish they. I really wish they remade Bleach before they came out with this final season. I really wish they did that, but it's okay. It's
There was
whatever.
no way
Either
they were gonna justify that,
I
bro.
know it's a hope dream. I
I
wish they
wish
did
it
it
came
though.
out sooner. So the difference between the end of Bleach and the beginning of Bleach Thousand Year Blow arc wasn't as jarring.
It is jarring. Like you really have to be a fan of Bleach to kind of be cool with it. But if you're like if you're watching it from the beginning until the new arc happens, it's kind of like what the heck.
I think
But
it'd be fine because Bleach was the best looking of the big three while they were all airing together at the same time,
I
every
agree.
single time.
Yeah,
And
I
people
agree.
forget that. Like I don't like that people be forgetting that. Like Bleach looked better than Naruto every time. Every time an episode of Naruto and Bleach dropped on Thursday nights, and trust me, every Thursday I was hyped when I was young boy. Thursday
Yeah.
nights, Bleach, Naruto, and One Piece would be posted on the site that I used to watch it on, and Bleach was
Oh, you
always
know
the
what?
best.
I finally I finally caught up to Villain Saga season
Manga
two.
or the anime.
No, the anime season two. I finally finished season two of Vinland Saga. Um,
You like
what
it?
a what a beautiful display of what positive masculinity is.
Oh,
Like
1000%.
I'm so like from season one. I'm not gonna spoil it because Malcolm. I don't know if you watched Finland Saga.
You got
Um,
to.
he, he probably
I
didn't.
feel like this is just a
Um,
reoccur. You could just honestly say that for every show. It's like, I don't know if you've
No,
seen
that
this
is
or
not
not,
true.
and
I did not say that for Windbreaker.
you haven't,
wait,
but you could have, and it would have been
No,
accurate.
I would never.
I think if
Windbreaker is
Malcolm,
right now for me.
I think Vinland Saga works for people who look. I'm a history nerd, so I love when they dive into like the mythology of like that particular time period. But even if you're not into the history, they don't. They use it as like a chess piece to like move the characters around, but you don't have to be into history to understand what's going on because it focuses on this one individual person and Thorfinn basically. All I'll simply say, without going into depth with it, it is very heavy. It is very philosophical with its themes and messages, and has a very unconventional way of telling its story to some people. But I will say that if people nowadays with toxic masculinity from a lot of these popular figures like the Andrew Tates, the Fresh and Fits, I'm gonna call them out by name and all of them, if you want to see what it is to actually be a man, I'm talking to the young men out here. They want to see what it actually means to be a man and what the core trait is of what a man truly is. Watch Finland Saga from the beginning and all the way to the end of season two, and you'll see um, how a young boy grapples with what it means to be a man in a violent era. Not when there's peace, not when everything's cool, but when there's war, poverty, savage, death, and how this young boy can handle that type of magnitude on his shoulders. That is an example of positive masculinity, which when you get to the end of season two, in my opinion, that's it. I'll get off my soapbox
Another
for that.
show. I mean, for one, I second everything that James just said. Two, another
Yeah.
show I totally forgot to mention. Elusive Samurai is really, really good. 12 episodes.
Oh,
And
okay.
start to finish, it is a different take on the usual overpowered MC trope. Um,
Yeah.
Everything is in the name. It's an elusive samurai. He's on the run, trying to reclaim his stolen throne because his
Yeah,
father
like
was killed in a coup. Yeah, his whole
right,
family was
right,
killed
right,
in a coup,
right.
and he's learning to build up his clan from scratch again with new vassals and a family that's protecting them right now. And it is really, really, really entertaining. It's like
Yeah.
pretty uplifting, despite like the dark tone and the fact that it's set in the war.
Hmm.
And I think it's worth your time. Also,
I
also,
think people.
also,
Mhm.
one last one. I've been watching a lot of anime lately.
No, go ahead. Throw them out
Remake
there.
Our Life, Bokutachi no Remake. Super good. It's not an isekai, but it's kind of like a time bend.
It was
It's
called.
giving
What's it in again?
everything I liked about Golden Time. I'm really liking about this. It's set in college, which is a huge plus.
What's it called again? It's called. What's it?
It's
Boko.
called Remake Our Life. It's on Crunchyroll, and this dude, he's like 28 years old. He like he was either going to go to art school or he was going to go to school for finance and play it safe. And he went to school for finance, played it safe. Halfway through, he like gave up on it, and then he ended up like trying his hardest to get back into it, and then like everything just like didn't work out. He used the last of his money to move back in with his parents, and he's just sitting there like, yeah, man, like those last 10 years kind of feels like a waste of my life. What I wouldn't give to go back in time. Then he wakes up 10 years past, thinking like, "What the heck is my sister doing in my room? Why are you dressed like that? Like, why are you wearing your old like middle school uniform?" And he realizes he actually went 10 years back in the past, and he's really like, and he's like, you know, this time instead of choosing to take the safe route, I'm gonna stake it on my dreams and go to art school and be a
Mm.
creative, and maybe I get to work with the people who end up becoming this legendary generation of like producers, like artists and stuff who are his exact age, who he didn't get to go to school with because he took the safe route. But that this time around, he gets to go to school with them and be part of their journeys to greatness. Super good slice of life,
Aw.
time bend. I'm loving it.
I might have to rewatch this. That's a rewatch. I might have to watch this. It has on Crunchyroll 4.7 out of 5, over almost 17,000 reviews. So that's
Remake Our
interesting.
Life.
Yeah, remake our life. Yeah.
Yeah, it deserves
Now,
all the praise it gets, in my opinion.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Jason. Anyone who view, when you Google remake our life, there is an image that pops up. I promise you guys. I don't think Jason is saying this is one of those animes where they have high school girls dressed in a certain way. It's kind of weird. I wish I had Riverside so I can show you guys the photo that I saw.
I don't even know.
I'm googling it because now I need to see what you're seeing.
Don't worry, it's
But
nothing nude or anything like that. But it's just kind of like it just kind of like in my face. I was like, what the heck is
you're
that?
probably
Um,
anime is anime,
but
but this anime
anyway,
isn't egregious with fan service. Let me
exactly,
just say that
exactly.
it's
So
not a
it's all right.
pervert's show. Thankfully,
Exactly, exactly. Like Mashiko Tensei.
it's a
Uh,
drama. It's a drama
it's
with
a drama.
romantic elements.
It is.
A slice of life drama
Um,
romance. Yep.
are you into slice of life, Malcolm? Not really. You are.
Yeah, he watched.
Which?
Was Toradora.
Yeah. Oh, he
I
did.
did.
That was a great conversation.
That was a fun time. I binge watched Toradora in like 3 days. Honestly, I watched like the
That's
first.
the best way to watch Toradora.
I was looking back at like my watch history, and it said that like I watched like the first 17 episodes in like one day, and I was like, "There's no
Oh
way."
my
Like I
goodness.
could
I
do.
believe that. Was
I
that
kind of
22
believe
minutes
that.
an episode? If you're
Yeah.
skipping openings and outros?
And if I had literally nothing to do over the summer and I was like free time, I'm like, yeah, I could do this in one day.
See,
I
yo,
think I
Malcolm
just
does
got
watching
called
anime.
so yeah. I've watched things. I've seen things. You know what? I want to talk now. You know
That's
what's a
like
show?
6 hours of anime straight. You can do that in a day.
You know what's a show
Right.
that we should all watch again, maybe separately? Ghost Hunt.
Honestly, I haven't seen
Yeah.
that show since high school.
I don't
It's
even
been a
want to
minute.
say it's a good show, but it was an entertain. It was good. I wouldn't say it was like man, it was a classic. Like man, I can't wait to
It
watch
kind of
that
is a
again. Like
classic, I think.
I guess it is.
If you're an anime head, I think it's a classic as far as the horror genre is concerned because the horror genre is
Yeah.
small for
It
anime.
is small, and even the horror animes also aren't as good, to be honest.
It's hard to pull
Um,
off.
yeah. If you want to, there's actually one I just watched recently. I just finished for the during the Halloween list. It's called Dark Gathering. It came out last year, and is not a jump scare type of horror. It's not. It's not. It's also not a psychological horror. The way I phrase it is this is gonna be very. I'm not gonna make that comparison. That might be bad. Dark Gathering is about this boy who is in college, first year college freshman, and an accident happened to him and a friend of his who was a girl when they was a kid. And what happened was, don't worry, this is all in the first episode. Don't worry, but they went exploring because this boy has the power to see the spirit world, so he can see all the spirits and ghosts and demons and stuff like that. So they got a little too curious, and they were cursed, both him and the girl. Right. So on his hand, he has to wear a glove for a particular reason. So he is a college freshman. He wants to go for tutoring, like help tutor somebody, and he stumbles upon tutoring his first assignment. This girl who so happens to be the cousin of the girl that he went and got cursed with, basically. So what's special about this little girl is that she actually has like double vision in a way, so she can see the spirit world more intensely. And surprisingly, she is feared in the spirit world in a particular way. I can't tell you why, but she is feared in the spirit world.
And
And
what's the
her
show
whole
called?
reason is called Dark Gathering.
Dark Gathering.
DARK, yeah, Dark Gathering. And is basically her goal is that she wants to capture as many of these powerful demons as possible, and she wants the most powerful demons as possible, so that way she can get her mom back. Because all she remembers as a kid is that some spiritual being came into her house and took her father, killed her father, but specifically took her mother away, and no one knows why. So she wants to track down this very powerful spiritual being, but to do that, she has to go on this kind of adventure to different like sites of haunted areas and collect the most powerful spiritual beings and create an army to go after this spiritual monster. It's 25 episodes. It's one season's out right now, and it's a show that I hope people stick with. They focus a lot on the world building and the characters, and around like I don't know if you guys want me to tell you the episode where like things kind of take a turn. Um, it's usually around episode 4 or 5 where they kind of like say, okay, we kind of showed you the world. Let's kind of get into it more now, right? Start poking deeper and deeper into it. So I do tell people that, hey, it's not like a slow burn, like it's boring, but it's like one of those things like they're just trying to introduce you to the cast, the world, the supernatural area. Kind of goofy at first, but then eventually kind of get a little bit more serious as time goes on. I think people should give it a shot. I think if you're into something and you want something like a light horror show where it's not jump scares, but it's more like a creepy design of
Thriller.
characters, yeah, like a thriller type of way, then I think that'll be a good show for people. I think Dark Gathering will work. Yeah.
Interesting.
Um, but yeah, I mean, for me personally, that's all the shows I've been keeping up with. Jason, thank you for giving me your options. Malcolm,
Yeah, I know. I like kind of talked my head off a little
dude,
bit.
don't apologize, man. You put
That's
people on the list,
you
man.
talked on a
It,
podcast. That's the
there
point of the
was just a
podcast.
lot of good anime.
And you
That's
There's
the
had
whole
stuff I
point.
have yet to see. Have any of y'all seen God of High School? Because like I hear a lot of good things about it, but I've never
I only saw the
gotten to
first
it.
season. Some look. I'm part of the camp of people who I thought was pretty solid. Some people say it was trash. I thought it was solid. It's nothing to run home
I
about,
mean,
but
Tower of
it's
God is
good.
trash. Tower of God is like hot garbage, bro.
Hot doo doo butter. Yeah,
Tower of
I
God is like
understand.
if you threw up in a trash can and put gasoline in that joint and then took a
Dang,
dump on it and then you lit it
damn,
up. And then you lit it
dang.
up in
Okay,
slow motion so it'll go everywhere.
all right, Eminem. I'm a little dark here.
Tower of God sucks. I don't know why
Malcolm's face.
anybody like that,
don't
bro.
watch it. I got it.
Tower of God.
We're taking.
You know
Do
what?
not
I
watch
don't
it.
like. So, all right, so way back in the day, there was a 3 episode rule, but way back in the day before then, I did not drop shows, yo. I did not drop shows. People were like, "Oh, so good, so good, so good." I'm like, "All right, let me just keep watching it. Let me just keep watching it." You know what I learned? If you turn your brain off and like animation enough, you can think hot garbage is good. Because Tower of God was trash, bro. Like I
Here,
wanted to like it so bad.
what's that? What's that anime that came out? I think last year, 2 years ago. I think it's called Record of Ragnarok,
Yeah,
and it was supposed to be like this battle shonen type of thing. And
Was it good?
I think from what so here's what I've heard when it first came out from the fans who read the manga is that the manga is really good. It has a good way of depicting the fighting because I think the whole premise of it, and people can correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong. I think it's almost like Fate, but like a more of a like a boxing type of thing where you take these historical figures throughout history, obviously, and they kind of like have that versus battle. So it might have I don't know, it might have like a warrior from the samurai
it
era
had
versus
Genghis
some type of
Khan versus someone else. Yeah.
Is it
yeah,
also called
yeah.
Records of the Grand Crest War?
No,
No, it's
I
only
think that's
called
the
Record of
game.
Ragnarok. It's on Netflix.
Oh, it's on Netflix. I'm like, I'm on Crunchyroll. I'm like, is this
No,
joint
Crancrest
anime?
War. No, Record of Ragnarok.
Yeah, I watched it last year, and
Would you
I thought
recommend
it
it?
was solid. Was it last year or 2 years ago? I'd say I would recommend it. It's mostly just the animation. It was a little like, what am I watching right
A
now?
little rough.
But
Yeah.
yeah, a little
Would you
rough.
rather watch Baki, like Baki Anma, or Record of Ragnarok? Because Baki's animation put me off a lot until I finally
I
did
can
the sequel.
understand that. I can understand it, to be honest.
I don't know. Yeah,
I
but
think.
like, yeah,
I'm
So let me.
looking at
Can
it
I? Can I
here
tell you
and I'm
the?
like, it's not bad.
Can I tell you the premise of Record of Ragnarok though?
You kind of did.
Did I? I guess I did.
You
I
said it's
mean,
like similar to
like Fate, the Fate series, where it's kind of like
yeah,
you
if
have
you get
historical
the Fate
figures coming
series,
to
then you know
fight.
exactly. They're crossing characters from across time
Right.
in a battle
Right.
royale
Right.
loose
And so
plot.
I watched a couple loose plot. I watched a couple episodes and I was like, it's pretty okay. But from what I heard the second season, it, the first season already had complaints of animation quality. I heard apparently the second season I saw clips of them doing slideshow of them throwing punches, like not even actually them punching, but like slideshow
yeah.
images of them like crossing each other. I'm like, oh, that's terrible. That's
He was
lazy.
like, "Oh no, I can't do this."
I'm not. It's
No,
not an
no,
anime.
no.
That's just a slideshow presentation.
It's a
yo,
PowerPoint. Yeah.
yo, that's crazy. No, I think there's no shortage of good shows out there to watch. I found a
Oh,
lot, and
100%.
I think if you're really trying to um, like if you're bored enough and you're open minded enough. No, because I think when you're bored, you're most open minded. Because like a lot of the
Uh-huh.
anime I watched when I was younger, I was just bored out of my mind. So I was just watching and watching and watching. And I think if you can get past, if you let yourself just absorb the first 3 episodes of a show, then you're in the mindset of that genre, and then you can actually appreciate all the stuff that's there. Because I think nowadays, like we don't even give shows 1 episode, let alone the good old 3 episode rule, which I think is forcing TV shows to rush their plots and downplay character development. A lot of shows that would have been better. Biggest example,
Exactly.
Fire Force. Fire Force would have been a lot better if they slowed down the first bit of the show and made it a longer season. But they
Oh
they
yeah, I
had to
agree.
go straight for the fight scenes. So by the end of season 2, I did not give a crap about Shinra. He's the main character. That's crazy. By end of episode 4 of Soul Eater, I cared deeply about those characters,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
deeply
And you
flawed
know
as they
why?
were, because they
Because
put
they
their
use lessons
flaws
to the
front and
characters.
center
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning of the story, and you watch them develop episode by episode.
Yeah.
That was not a slow paced show by any means. It was very fast paced, especially for back then.
Yeah. I think for the shonen genre, especially this year, I think has a lot of good shows I gotta get into. Like for example, I gotta finish My Hero Academia. 'Cause I think the final season
Oh,
is next
this
season.
season was good,
I heard it was good.
bro. It was
Um,
good. The episode with Toga was low, yeah. It was good, but it was like, but like, yeah, but I'll tell
what's
you
some
when you finish it, bro. We'll talk. I
dude?
need to
I
talk
read
to you
the
about it when
manga.
you catch
I know
up.
what happens. Yeah,
I already know before you
All
know.
right,
I
spoiler
read
alert,
the.
Malcolm. Do you care?
Yeah, yes, I care. What do you mean? Do I care?
Yeah, yeah,
Turn off
don't
your ears,
spoil
bro.
it, Jason.
What?
Turn
All
off your
right,
ears.
I
He
was
said
I
cover your
gotta
ears is crazy.
mute
Nah,
everything.
I'm just
All right.
playing. We can talk about it
We'll
offline,
talk about it off
off
air.
pod.
Yeah, yeah.
But
But
it was good. Season 7 was good.
I want to ask y'all, and pertaining to shonen, um, I want to talk about some shonen classics
We
that
got
we
to
should
choose
probably
the
have
one
to.
we're gonna watch, bro.
Yeah,
As a podcast, as a group.
No, just us as a group, and then whenever we can talk about our thoughts upon rewatching it, we can talk about it. I've already started a couple in the last 2 weeks.
he wants to
Um,
gloat like, oh, I rewatched all these shonen classes.
no,
Good
no,
for
no.
you. We have
I'm like
jobs.
on a Saturday, God bless you. While I was painting, I started rewatching Hunter x Hunter, and I started
Did you drink
rewatching.
wine while you was doing that?
No,
Sipping paint?
no, it was more like eat baby carrots and paint. But
Eat baby carrots?
either way,
Anyways,
started rewatching D Gray Man. Had to switch it off and put on some Hunter x Hunter.
Dude, Hunter x Hunter would be dope.
It's in dub now, so it's probably easier to watch for you, Malcolm. I didn't know it was dubbed until recently.
James, why
It
do
wasn't supposed to be a shot. I wasn't
It,
trying to
it
be
sounded
fake.
like a shot. Honestly, it sounded like. Oh,
honest, bro. Honest to God, I didn't mean it as a shot.
I know what you were trying to do, but it did just.
Malcolm said English is on. If you don't speak the English, I'm not watching.
He
It.
was
That's
like,
what
I
he's
don't feel
saying.
like reading when I'm not at work.
Which is just like
Right.
He's like,
That's
how you want
funny.
me to read and watch cartoons at the same time?
Right. You know what's crazy? Side note. That's always interesting because I have my family members who are older. They do not understand subtitles. They don't like to them. They're still like in that mindset. Like, how can you read subtitles and still watch the show? I'm like,
Have they never
to
heard
me,
of
it's
closed
just
captions? Like,
yeah. It's like you just read it and it
I don't think they have.
works.
I don't know.
that's crazy, bro.
Eye coordination. That's all it is. That's all it is.
Yeah.
The eye coordination, you mean?
Right there you go. That's what it is. That's what it is.
They don't have. eye
Alright,
Hunter
coordination.
x
what are
Hunter's good. I
suggestions?
like that. What do you think, Malcolm? What's a good rewatch?
He gonna say Naruto.
No, I
He
wouldn't.
is. High School
I
DxD.
mean, I've
That's
never
not a
watched it.
shonen.
I'm not. It actually is it?
It's not.
It's a seinen, isn't it?
Actually, I don't
What?
know what it would be considered.
It
High
doesn't
School
matter.
DxD?
It doesn't matter. We're not watching.
Doesn't matter. We're not watching it.
Yu Yu Hakusho,
Um,
because I already started it and I'm already into it, and I feel like y'all can rewatch
You
it.
Which arc
Hakusho
are
would
you
be a
on,
good
Malcolm?
one, just because. Yeah, Malcolm's already started it.
I'm on like episode 10. Maybe 13.
Oh,
I'm thinking you on episode 40 or something. Damn.
Why
yeah.
would
I'm thinking like you're like in halfway or something.
Where did you get that idea, impression, bro?
You
Episode
started
10.
watching that joint a minute ago, bro.
I started in August, and then I got a new job that makes me want to censorship, and so I don't have time.
I think Yu Yu Hakusho can work. I'm
I'm
fine
down
with
for
that.
Yu Yu Hakusho.
I mean, hey, anything better than Gintama or anything like that. So
Gintama is not a show you can rewatch because most of the jokes are time sensitive.
that's true. That's
Time
true.
sensitive, and you also have to like get all the references, and most of the references are like you had to be an anime head in like from like 1995 to like 2012 to get all the
That's true.
jokes because their
So if
jokes
you're
are
not out the
based off
womb by then,
popular
you're not gonna get
animes.
it.
You unless you like really like about it like
You
that.
love that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, you got to be about it like that to get even half the jokes in that show. And
about it,
still,
about it.
I like Gintama, but I would never recommend it.
Yeah. So I think we're settled on the Yu Yu Hakusho basically.
All right, we also gotta watch Psyche K again.
Seki K.
What is
Okay.
that?
Oh, I know you want to talk about
Have you
that
seen it, Malcolm?
parody
I
Netflix movie.
love that show. I did maybe it's just an excuse for me to rewatch it. I've already watched it like 3 times.
Malcolm, I'm letting you know it's one of those. It's like One Punch Man in a way where it's kind of like
It's not like One
it's
Punch Man. One Punch
it is
Man is
100% like One Punch Man.
totally different, bro.
No, it's not. They're both bad.
They're directed entirely
Say
differently.
no. Say no. No, it's true. Like one, like Saki K. I'll let Jason explain because he's really way more fond of it. So I'll let him present it.
One
Basically,
Punch Man is from the third person view, which completely changes the comedy versus like Psyche K is from the perspective of Psyche as someone who can read minds, and so that level of situational comedy is like distinct to him being the narrator and also the person that can do all this stuff. And then his very like apathetic, like Shikamaru like attitude, but with his powers in his world and the dramatic characters.
oh,
So, are we adding that to the list or just one? I
I'm
feel like one
into
at
it.
a time.
All right, let's stick to Yu Yu Hakusho and see where we're at. I'm cool with that because I haven't rewatched Yu Yu Hakusho in a while.
James, when's the
I
last
don't
time
think
you
I've
saw it?
ever rewatched the whole thing all the way through a second time. I've only like gone and like watched like favorite episodes of certain arcs.
I gotta watch a live action version of that show. I still gotta
I
finish
still
it.
got to finish
I
that
heard it was
joint
good.
too.
I heard it
I
was really
saw the
good.
first episode; it was really good.
It was. I don't know how they squeezed the whole arc, but we're gonna find out. But yeah, Malcolm, we're gonna. Ooh, I want one to be Hitman Reborn. I want
Hitman
one.
Reborn. I was rewatching it last spring for the first time since high school. I I'm down to put that on that joint because I got up to the
Facts.
end of the Vangola family arc,
This is our way to get Malcolm into watching more of these anime, especially the
especially
classic
the
ones.
older, longer classics.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like Malcolm, have you seen Full Metal Alchemist?
No.
All right, as respectfully speaking, it was a great time.
He hasn't seen Full Metal Alchemist. He hasn't seen Brotherhood. He's like, what has he
Dang.
seen? He's seen Toradora and
And
Naruto.
Naruto.
Wait, you saw Inuyasha though, right? No. Okay, never mind. All right,
Dang,
guys.
bro.
So
Inuyasha's
this
great. I would
was
love to rewatch that one too.
this
Hmm.
was respectfully speaking, y'all. We're gonna so the next episode we're probably gonna dive into Yu Hakusho. If we have some other topics we want to talk about, then we'll just talk about those topics instead. Probably give us time to really sit down and digest Yu Hakusho. But
And
that
not make me
is
look like a villain on this podcast because
You're
I
not a
feel like
yeah,
villain. You're
I'm
just a
not.
hater.
I
yeah.
am
He's
a
just a hate. We'll make him less of a hater, basically.
He's an
That's what we'll do.
uninformed hater.
So before we wrap up, closing statements. Malcolm, go.
Can't wait to continue watching Yu Yu Hakusho, and I can't wait to watch it with you guys separately, but like together at the same time.
Yeah.
Also, can't wait for you
Okay.
guys to stop grilling me unintentionally on not watching all these different shows. So,
And Jason, stop grilling him on waiting for the English dub. Just because he doesn't like the Japanese language doesn't mean he
that's
can't
not
watch
even
it.
true. I think Attack on Titan in
Things I
Japanese.
didn't say.
I think Attack on Titan in Japanese is the greatest show ever. So
I
There
do
you go.
not ever want to watch Attack on Titan in dub.
it shouldn't.
Yeah, probably not.
People are like, "Oh, it's a great dub." I'm like, no, it just feels like a
I
kid
don't.
show.
Nah,
It might be an okay dub, but great is a strong word.
probably.
I watch a
Um,
lot more dubs nowadays. I'm not grilling you, Malcolm. In fact, I predominantly watch dubs these days because I multitask when I'm watching these shows because I don't have time to sit down and watch anime all day.
I only watch dub because my girl wants to watch dub. That's literally the only reason. Other than that, That's pretty much it.
And
Jason, closing statements.
closing statements. Sorry, Malcolm, I don't mean to grill you. I do want you to watch more of these classics. It is. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
I really, really am because I'll probably listen back to this and it's like, dang, I was really like going in on this man. Like,
It was you and James unintentionally for the most part.
I
Yeah,
mean, it's
basically.
kind of funny though.
It is funny, but it's funny how like it came as a shot, but it wasn't even shots. It was just kind of like an observation, like, oh yeah,
It's
it's
you
right.
haven't seen it.
I haven't seen a lot, but that
Hey,
doesn't
bro,
mean I
it's a
can't
good,
have
not a
that.
good thing that I've seen this much anime. It's not. It's objectively an
Exactly.
anime.
Yeah.
Malcolm's knowledgeable in the anime space, but it's because he surrounds himself with people in social
Mhm.
media that provide him like the snippets of animes, so he can piece it together.
And
So
I
he
want
just
to
watch
add,
all the spoilers, the
I
things that you
want
won't
to
watch.
add that I have been like it's not like I just started watching anime like 4 years ago, when a lot of people started watching during the pandemic, and it's not like I was like discovered Naruto a couple years ago. I was like, oh my god, I like this show. I've been watching it for over 20 years. Like that.
Facts.
That's like a significant portion of my life, and I know I haven't seen every anime for 20 years, but like that counts for some part.
It
So
does
Yeah,
count.
like I
and
have
you
a
also got to
different
count all the
perspective.
4 kids anime,
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
Like
that
Yu-Gi-Oh.
makes sense.
like Bakugan. Oh my god, that was my show when I was in
Bakugan
fourth
is a
grade.
legit anime,
That is a legit anime.
and there was a
And
lot of seasons of that joint, bro.
Beyblade, I like begged my mom for a Beyblade for Christmas when I was 5 years old.
Bakugan
Oh
versus
yeah,
Beyblade.
I
Last
had the
opinion.
arena and
Bakugan
everything.
versus Beyblade.
The show
Show.
Bakugan, the toy Beyblade.
Yeah,
Beyblade for both,
yeah.
bro.
Now I had the toy
Uh,
of Beyblade, like, because I was Aries,
Nah,
and I always like Beyblade, let it rip. You know,
that's
I was in it. I was in the bag with that stuff, man.
bro.
It
I
was
thought
great.
Beyblade was
it,
the
it, it
best
was.
thing, bro.
It
Because I
was.
watched the original one on like a library DVD, like one of the like when I was a kid, and it was like they were in some cave in some temple, and they like opened the wrong door, and the Beyblades activated, and they had this magical power. Bakugan ain't got nothing on that, bro.
At first season of Bakugan, though, I think it
Yeah,
was.
dog. That first season stuff. That was
I
like
wonder that is that
2004, bro.
It
I
was.
wonder if that Crunchyroll thing is still working. I think we talked about it before, how Crunchyroll is trying to do like some TV network type of thing, like they're just going to air like some older
Yeah.
shows.
That
I
would be
wonder
dope.
if that's going to help bring in some younger people who just turn on the TV randomly, be like, oh snap, you know, High School DxD. Oh, I love anime now,
It
Oh,
you
would
know, type of
never,
stuff.
bro.
Or Prison School, you know,
We don't have to talk about that,
Or
man.
School Days.
or
Oh,
School.
I hate that show.
School
You
Days
better
is
not bring up School
traumatizing.
Days, bro.
That should be a
PTSD.
classic one we watch.
I had no, absolutely not. I had PTSD. I watched that joint when I was 12. I should not have, bro. That joint
Dude,
scarred me for like 8 years.
I watched a thing in college and I was like, why is Jason 10, 12-year-old self scared of this thing? But then when I kept watching it, I was like, oh, yeah, this is.
I
Remember
nightmares
calling
for
Malcolm. I was
weeks,
like,
bro.
Malcolm, please save me. Don't have me
I
watch
had
this anime no
nightmares
more.
for weeks after I watched that show.
School Days is not it, man.
Not for an 11-year-old.
But not for 11-year-old. Yeah, exactly.
No,
But
not
yeah,
at all.
so that was y'all closing statements. My closing statement simply is I want you guys, and I'm talking to the audience specifically, to love all forms of medium, whether it's live action film, live action TV shows, but especially anime, because that's what this episode currently is focusing on right now. Because anime, for all you out there who either know somebody or you are that person who may not be that into anime, help bring them in as a gateway. Don't throw them into One Piece or Bleach. I'm tired of these people who say, "Oh, what's the anime that people should watch? Oh, start with Naruto, start with One Piece, start with Bleach or Dragon Ball Z." No, 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 no. You gotta give them baby steps. Start with like some 12 episode shows. Figure out what live action shows do they like, and find something that's comparable. If they like Bad Girls Club, then they're not gonna like anime. But if they like anything of substance, then you could probably find a good comparable anime show that
If they
fits
like a
their
good
hunger.
mystery show, there's plenty of good like
Yeah,
mystery shows. If they like good action, good action. Romance, there is no shortage of romance anime.
literally no show. Like every year, there's like a new romance thing out there, man. Sci-fi,
Mhm.
fantasy, action, drama.
If you can draw it, there it is.
Yes, that's bad. Don't. Yes, that's the con. Anything that can be drawn is definitely an anime. But yes, just let's bring a gateway for people to come into the anime world. But that's all I had to say. So Thank you guys for tuning in to episode 10, and we will see you guys later.